Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Eddie Hearn says he wants to put together the Joshua Wilder fight and put together an offer to make it happen in 2018. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now Eddie Hearn says he's getting in touch with the necessary people, Showtime, Team Wilder, Al Heyman's side, to put together a Joshua Wilder fight. Now before you get excited, he's talking about putting the fight together in 2018, not necessarily next. I did a part 1 to this video. Check that out on the channel. And shout out to ESPN. I will be citing their information from Eddie Hearn, from an interview with Eddie Hearn. And shout out to ESPN. Link is in the description. But you guys will see what Eddie Hearn said. The title, Eddie Hearn to put together an offer for Anthony Joshua versus Wilder fight. We're going to put an offer together this week and look to continue the conversation with Wilder's team. Right? And new media is killing Ego's Army. It feels so great. Look what ESPN put. Dan Rayfield. The question has been whether Eddie Hearn would seriously try to make the fight. He has gone back and forth on when he would like to put it together. You have ESPN, one of the largest sports broadcasters and imprints, and even ESPN is saying, and they're aware of what new media, what Ego's Army has been telling you. Once again, the question has been whether Eddie Hearn would seriously try to make the fight. He has gone back and forth on when he would like to put it together, which is what I've been telling you as far as the little loopholes and inconsistencies and little idiosyncrasies, right? But he said Wednesday that he and Anthony Joshua would like to get it signed to take place by the end of this year. So not necessarily next. Even if both title holders have an interim fight this summer. See, there's the kicker. If they fight in between, we'll be talking, this is a quote, we'll be talking about whether Anthony Joshua fights again in July or August, or if we go straight into a Wilder fight in October or November, Hearn said, right? Hearn says he's also had contact and touch bases with Showtime. He says, I spoke to Steven Espinoza to talk about mapping it out, and he said a Joshua Wilder fight works best for him in September or December. I said we could either fight in July or August, and then we see what happens. But I want to do a deal now. Even if we both fight this summer, I am looking to reach an agreement on this fight prior to our next fight, where we have already signed to fight Wilder in December. Keep that statement in mind. I am looking to reach an agreement on this fight prior to our next fight, where we have already signed to fight Deontay Wilder in December. Because of the fan demand, it's important that the fight is actually made now, even if they fight one more fight, right? Eddie Hearn concluded, what I am saying is that I want to make the Joshua Wilder fight in 2018. The question is, do we have a fight in the summer and then box Wilder in December, or do we go straight into the fight in September or October? That is one of the things I will be speaking to Joshua and Rob about. But the only way I think we should have an interim fight is if the Wilder fight is signed. We wanted Joshua wants it bad. It's the biggest fight in boxing, in the world boxing, and it's for the undisputed world championship. Nobody should be saying Joshua don't want it, he wants it. Look at what he's already done in 21 fights. Nobody should doubt his desire to be in these big fights. Look, ESPN. Why isn't Deontay Wilder next for Anthony Joshua? Wow. Now, this is the issue that I have. Is once again, it's Eddie Hearn doing a lot of double talking, and you have to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. And we go back to the article, direct quotes. He says he's going to put together an offer, look to continue the conversation. but he's also telling you he doesn't know if it's next. But this is why I had to do a longer video. My question is this. They asked directly Anthony Joshua in his post-fight interview, if it was up to you, who would you fight next? Deontay Wilder. That's what he said. He said Deontay Wilder. And then he said, or Tyson Fury. Okay, this article doesn't mention anything about Tyson Fury, so we'll cross him off the list. Then why isn't Deontay Wilder? How is Eddie Hearn saying that the conversation, look, we'll be talking about whether Anthony Joshua fights again in July or August, or if we go straight into a Wilder fight in October or November, right? So that's something, a concern of mine, right? Do you go straight away into the Wilder fight in late 2018? Or do you have an interim fight of your choice? Let's say Gerald Big Baby Miller at the Barclays American debut, maybe a mandatory like Alexander Povetkin, and then fight Wilder, right? So to me, it seems a little bit all over the place. And why did Joshua say that he wanted to fight? If it was up to him, he says Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, right? And then Eddie Hearn says, even if we both fight this summer, I'm looking to reach an agreement, things of that sort. So he's saying I need to contact Joshua to see what he wants to do. But I thought he said post-fight what he wanted to do. He says, I want to fight Wilder next or Tyson Fury. The other thing I have an issue with is it's boxing, people. What if you go in there with Povetkin and he breaks your nose? You get an injury. Because David Price just came out and says his nose was broke and he had to get a whole bunch of stitches. Facts. You know what I mean? What if Alexander Povetkin beats Anthony Joshua? What if he had a quick turnaround and you know what I mean? Because going 12 rounds with Joshua, going 12 rounds with Parker, let's say him fighting this summer is too much for his body or something, and then he loses. What if he loses Gerald Big Baby Miller or looks super vulnerable? Then now your big fight is hurting. What if Deontay Wilder's in there with Dominic Breazeale, who has said it's personal because of him getting punched in the lobby in Alabama? You know what I mean? What if he made Wilder look bad? You know what I mean? Now you just hurt your Joshua Wilder fight. So too much can happen. So many things can go wrong. Why stall? Why keep extending this? Just get it out the way. And this is the thing. Eddie Hearn knows that this fight is what people really want. I mean, he said it in multiple interviews. Oh, this is a major fight. Oh, this is great. He said this is to crown the number one heavyweight in the world, by far the biggest fight in the division, one of the most significant fights that can be made. So why delay? Why not just make that straight away? If you're going to be in touch with his team, why make a potential contract for later in the year when you can make it straight away in their next fight? Don't fight anybody else. Like I said, different things can go wrong, right? So he says we'll be talking about whether Joshua fights in July or August, or if we go straight into a Wilder fight in October, November. And then by the article's end, he says, the question is, do we have a fight in the summer and then box Wilder in December? So when did December come in? You know what I'm saying? When did this December date come in? Or if we go straight into the fight September, October. So I don't know. It sounds a little bit all over the place. Do we box him in December? Do we fight in September, October? And then up here, it was talking about October, November. So I'm a little bit confused, but I'm not really worried about that because that's stuff they can iron out. But more importantly, why not fight straight away? You know, you said Joshua wants it. You know the fans want it. So he says because of the fan demand, because of the fan demand, it's important that the fight is actually made now, even if they fight one more fight. Why? Why should Wilder fight Dominic Breazeale, fight Dillian White or whoever, and Joshua go his separate way? Like, that's not really building this fight to me. They just came off Joseph Parker win and Wilder came off an Ortiz win. The time should be now. You know what I mean? So we're going to wait and see what Eddie Hearn comes up with and what he decides. Now, the other thing that's questionable to me is this, right? This whole stanza right in here. What I'm saying is I want to make the Joshua Wilder fight in 2018. Question is, do we have a fight in the summer and then box Wilder in December, or do we go straight into a fight in September or October? That's what he's going to be thinking. But the only way I think we should have an interim fight is if the Wilder fight is signed. So he's saying if we fight Povetkin, right? If we fight him in the summer, then the Wilder fight needs to be agreed upon and signed. So my question is this. When Eddie Hearn was throwing out Dillian White as an option for who he wanted to see Wilder fight, not Joshua, the champion, not the guy that knocked out Dillian White, when he was recommending a Dillian White fight, saying immediately after Dillian White knocked out Lucas Brown, he says, before today, the broadcasters, all they cared about was Joshua Wilder. Now they care about Dillian White versus Wilder, right? So my thing is this. If Eddie Hearn had the power to have an interim fight, a voluntary fight of their choice in between, but still have the Wilder fight deal on the back end, that's what Wilder was requesting. Wilder said, fine, you want to sick your watchdog on me, Dillian White? I'll fight him. I'll fight him in the UK, right? That's no problem. If you put Anthony Joshua's name on the contract. And what did Eddie Hearn say? Eddie Hearn was like, I'm not negotiating Joshua for a Dillian White contract. That's not how things are done. But now he's telling you that, hey, we want to box. We might want to fight in the summer and then fight Wilder in 2018, late 2018. But either way, we want to fight him. But now all of a sudden the narrative is back to, hey, we can fight somebody else not named Wilder. So let's say Povetkin, Gerald Miller, but still have a deal in place to fight Wilder, which is what Wilder requested when it came to Dillian White. And Eddie Hearn says, no, can't do. We cannot do that. We cannot negotiate Joshua. That's not how deals are facilitated. That's unreasonable. So to me, Eddie Hearn has to get it together with what standpoint he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to Dillian White, then it's a case-by-case basis, and you can't do what Wilder's requesting, which is offer up Anthony Joshua on a Dillian White contract. But now he's telling ESPN, a major website, he's telling ESPN, hey, it's very important. It's very important for us to negotiate this fight, even if we have our own fight in the in-between time. We gotta have this deal done and ready, right? He says it again. Even if we both fight this summer, this is why I had to do a separate video, people. He says it again. Even if we both fight this summer, I am looking to reach an agreement on this Wilder fight prior to our next fight, where we have already signed to fight Deontay Wilder in December. Because of the fan demand, it is important that this fight is actually made now, even if they fight one more time, one more fight. So, i.e., if Joshua fights Povetkin, Kubrat Pulev, or Gerald Miller, they want to have the deal in place for Wilder. But that's what Wilder said when it came to Dillian White, when Eddie Hearn threw the Dillian White conversation upon Wilder. He said, fine, if you want me to fight him that bad, I'll fight him. I'll fight him in the UK. I could beat him with my arm, with one hand behind my back, or whatever Wilder said. And he says, just put Joshua on the contract. And he said he couldn't do that. But now he can put together a deal with, let's say, Gerald Miller and Joshua, and I already have a deal for Wilder done for December. It's not making sense, Eagle Army. I told you this is not going away. And the more things that come out, the more inconsistencies, we'll be right there to pick up the pieces and discuss it. There's nothing wrong. I don't have a problem with Eddie Hearn. I have no problem with Anthony Joshua. But I'm a person who has integrity and wits about me. So you're not gonna just spoon feed me anything and just expect me to accept it and be like, oh, okay, yeah. Even if it's inconsistent, that's not how I operate. So hopefully Joshua and Wilder's next. Like I said, I don't want to see something come in between the fight. Like I said, an injury, anything. It's boxing. You know what I mean? What if someone gets a broken hand or suffers a hand injury, looks vulnerable? Then all these things would hurt Joshua Wilder. So all these belts, you're only missing one more, and that's Deontay Wilder's belt. It would be a great fight. Shout out to the winner, whoever wins that particular fight. And let's see it. Undisputed unification. And to the fans who tried to prevent the fight and said, oh, Wilder has to do this, then why is Eddie Hearn now saying that this is the biggest fight in boxing, and because of the fan demands, we have to make the fight? What about, oh, Wilder doesn't sell. He can't sell out his mom's basement. He deserves 10% of the lion's share. You know what I'm saying? What happened to all that stuff you're saying? Why is Eddie Hearn now trying to? Because the pressure bursts pipes. And Eddie Hearn's a businessman. He's been in the business for a while. He knows he can't stall this out much longer. And you have to listen to what Eddie Hearn said. He said, I think we can get away with one more. Meaning, I think we can fight one more guy in between. Because he knows that it's right about that time where people, they're going to be like, it's going to hurt Joshua's brand if Joshua doesn't fight Wilder this year, if he doesn't fight him in his next two fights. Me personally, I say get it out of the way. Because, listen, let's say Joshua Wilder, someone has to lose. Let's say they fight in the summer. Then you can already start your rematch talks for early next year, right? Or late this year. I mean, if you want to go into an immediate rematch, you know what I mean, a couple months after the first fight, like Ward Kovalev, right? Like Triple G and Canelo was supposed to have, right? But when you prolong it like this, let's say AJ fights Gerald Miller, Deontay Wilder fights Dominic Breazeale, right? Now you got that fight, plus you won't fight Joshua and Wilder won't fight till, let's say, December, last month of the year. And now if there's a controversial outcome or someone gets knocked out and wants to avenge it, then it definitely won't happen until the very next year. But if they fought in the summertime, they can already have an outcome and be ready to go by December or early next year if someone wants to pursue a rematch. Again, plus injuries and different fickle things happen. Just make the fight, make the date. Now, another inconsistency to me from Team Joshua is this. Look at the title. Eddie Hearn to, quote, put an offer together for Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder fight. So, fine and dandy, I have no problem, music to my ears. But I distinctly remember hearing Anthony Joshua say on the Gloves Are Off in different interviews between Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua that, hey, this could have been Wilder, but Joseph Parker, he's the one, him and his team were professional. They stepped up to the plate, and Wilder was never in touch. He never sent an offer. Did he send a contract? You know what I mean? And they were expecting the B-side Wilder, which we all know is the B-side because they've made it loud and clear, to send a contract. And New Media, Eagles Army, I posed the question to you guys. When does the B-side send contracts to the A-side? And some of y'all, oh yeah, if Wilder really wanted it, he would have sent a contract. He would have sent it to AJ. So my question to you is, why is Eddie Hearn, quote unquote, now he's putting together an offer for the Wilder-Joshua fight, Joshua Wilder, right? But I thought Wilder was supposed to send it, the B-side. See, all these things that you guys threw out, the fans and different people, it's not adding up because now you got to eat your words. You're forced to eat your words. First of all, I thought Wilder needed to send the contract to Joshua, the A-side, and I said, hey, when does that ever happen in boxing? When is Marcos Maidana sending Floyd a contract and saying, Floyd, sign this if you like it. I want to fight you. That doesn't really happen. But now Eddie Hearn's saying he's putting together an offer, which is how it's really operates. But you can't have one without the other, right? You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say Wilder and his team were ducking the fight because they needed to put together an offer. And now that's proven wrong because Eddie Hearn, the guy who should be in the driver's seat because he has the A-side fighter, is saying, hey, I'm putting together an offer. Not, hey, we're waiting for Wilder and his team to send me an offer. Checkmate. But I'm glad the talk is coming about so you guys can see it. And we'll see. We'll see what Team Joshua and Team Wilder are talking about. Hopefully it's pretty smooth to make. Let me know your thoughts. Who's telling the truth? Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.